What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you how to determine the cognitive functions and relative strengths for any Myers-Briggs personality type. I'm going to begin by drawing your attention to some general patterns that occur throughout all the personality types, by examining the relationships between the cognitive functions of these four personality types here. But before we get into that, I want to review the definition of a cognitive function and give a general description of each. Roughly speaking, a cognitive function is any mental ability that accesses, molds, or modifies existing known information about the universe. There are a total of 8 cognitive functions, each being an introverted or extroverted version of these 4 mental abilities here. Sensing, concrete understanding of physical reality. Thinking, an impersonal and logical assessment of information. Intuition, an understanding of abstract systems. And feeling, a personal and subjective assessment of information. For more detailed and thorough description of each of the cognitive functions, please click on the video link in the description below. So now, let us draw our attention to extracting the general patterns by analyzing the relationships between the cognitive functions for these 4 personality types. So one pattern that we immediately notice is that the dominant function for each of these personality types is introverted or extroverted, depending on whether the personality type is introverted or extroverted. Another pattern that we notice is that there's an alternation in terms of the cognitive functions being introverted and extroverted. And what follows an extroverted cognitive function is introverted, and what follows an introverted cognitive function is extroverted. And one final pattern, one really crucial pattern that we see, is that the dominant function for personality types ENTP and INTJ is what is indicated in the second position here, intuition. And the dominant cognitive function for INTP and ENTJ is the function that is indicated in the third position, thinking. Okay, so looking at this pattern, I can derive a general formula that will work for any Myers-Briggs personality type. And that is, any personality type of the form IXXP or EXXJ have as their dominant function the function that is indicated in the third position. And personality types of the form EXXP and IXXJ have as their dominant function the function that is indicated in the second position. So that is how we get the dominant cognitive function. But how do we get the other 3 functions? Well, I'm going to show you. First, let me clear this board. In order to determine the second strongest cognitive function, or the auxiliary cognitive function, we're going to look at the function that is indicated in the second position if the dominant function is indicated in the third position, and the function that is indicated in the third position if the dominant function is indicated in the second position. So to best illustrate this, I will now derive a cognitive function stack for a particular personality type, and in the process show you how to come up with the remaining 2 cognitive functions. So let us take the personality type ISFP. We immediately notice that this personality type is of the form IXXP, so therefore the dominant function is indicated in the third position. We recognize that this is an introverted personality type, so therefore this dominant function will be introverted. So now, to get our auxiliary cognitive function, we're going to look at the function that is indicated in the second position, and this is sensing. We remember that cognitive functions alternate in terms of being introverted and extroverted, so this will be extroverted. So now, to get our third cognitive function, we're going to look at the function that can be in the second position, but is not. Okay, and this is only one cognitive function, and it is intuition. Okay, so introverted intuition will be our third cognitive function. To get our last cognitive function, we're going to go back over to the third position and look at the function that can be in that position, but is not in that position. That's only one cognitive function as well, thinking. So, I have derived a cognitive function stack, and this general pattern occurs for all the personality types. Right? We go dominant function. If it's indicated in third position, we go to the second position. Then we remain in that second position to get the third cognitive function, and that function is the function that can be in that position but is not. Okay, and then for our last cognitive function, we go back over to the dominant function position, and we look at a cognitive function that can be there but is not. Okay, so that's for personality types that have as their dominant function the function that is indicated in the third position. So let's look at personality type where function is indicated, the dominant function is indicated in the second position. So let us take the personality type ESTP. We immediately notice that this is of the form EXXP, so our dominant function is in the second position. And it will be extroverted because this is an extroverted personality type. So to get our second strongest cognitive function, we're going to go look at the function that is indicated in the third position, and that's thinking. To get our third cognitive function, we're going to remain in that position, that auxiliary position, and we're going to look at the function that can be there but is not. And that is one function, feeling. So to get our last function, we're going to go back over to the dominant function position and look at the function that can be there but is not. And that will be intuition. So this is a general pattern we can use to derive cognitive function stack for any of the Myers-Briggs personality type. We start at the dominant function position, we go over to the second or third position for our second strongest cognitive function. Then we remain in that position and we look at the function that can be there but is not to get our third function. Then we go back over to the dominant function position, look at the function that can be there but is not to get our inferior function or our weakest function. So that concludes the video on how to determine a cognitive function for any Myers-Briggs personality type. If you found this video valuable, please be sure to like it and subscribe for similar content. Catch you guys next time.